Hi everyone, welcome to week 4. Coming at you with a video this week, partly just to inject a little humanity into this completely asynchronous work on the computer course, partly because there was something I wanted to show you on the screen from an assignment last week that I just thought was interesting. Much easier to show you than try and write all about it. So, a couple reminders first for this week. We're headed into Module 3, which is split into 2 parts. In the first half, due next Tuesday, you have 2 major discussions, the hardware discussion and the software discussion. For each of those, when you look at them in the overview, it will explain what's included in those designations. And then for your discussion, after you've read all the materials, what you do is you go out and find 10 links that relate to the hardware you've read about. You'll make a new collection in your Symbaloo called Hardware, and you'll add those links. You'll do the same for software, and you can title that collection Apps or Software, whatever makes you happy. You'll find 10 new links for that. So remember I told you that Symbaloo grows over the semester, and it is a final grade in this course, as well as being part of your grades all along. So please make sure you keep up with those. These discussions, you find 10 links, but you only have to present 3 in this brief discussion post. So find the 3 you really want to share with the class. Maybe try to find something you think no one else will find so we get a good mix. And follow the directions for explaining what you have and why you chose it. In both cases, in hardware and software, we're going to be looking at the SAMR model as we review these. So remember, the SAMR model is how does technology substitute in the lesson? How does it augment the lesson? How does it modify the lesson? Or how does it redefine? So it might be helpful if you keep that SAMR model graphic up in front of you as you respond to these. That is all you have to do in this first half of the module. In the second half, that's due the week following, you'll do an app demonstration and submit that. Now, could you do all 3 this week? Yes. You're always welcome to work ahead. Just know that I don't always grade things ahead. It will depend on the assignment. If it's a discussion-based assignment, I wait till the due date so that I have everyone's responses. It's just a lot easier than going back and forth. But if it's a standalone assignment that you submit, I try to get to those pretty quickly. So hopefully that helps you. Also, keep an eye out this week to see if any of those mystery words are coming your way. And then I wanted to show you, just briefly, the results from the SAMR, now I've got SAMR on the brain, the ISTE, different acronym, the ISTE standards for both educators and students. You took those 2 summaries or surveys last week. Use your words, Osterfeld. You had 24 questions over the educator standards and then 28 questions over the standards for students. And in each case, you marked a 1 as completely disagree or strongly disagree, and a 5 was strongly agree on how confident you were with those particular standards. So I pulled everyone's responses, took your names out, mixed them all up. These aren't even in alphabetical order anymore. But I just wanted to see overall as a class, how are we falling? When I look at your educator standards, very strong. 394, 388. You have nothing below a 3.5 as a class average. Now I understand everybody's at different places, and some of you may be much lower individually than that score. For example, here's a 1. Someone doesn't feel comfortable with this at all, but other people said 5. So we're all on different journeys. We've all been taught different things, but I thought it was just interesting to see how they fell out. I love that we have some alignment here, and the most blue boxes fall into our digital citizenship, which clearly has been a focus of technology education for quite a while now, so that appears to be reaping rewards. The other thing I pulled out were the 7 major categories for the educator standards, and just got the class average overall for that category. So as a learner, you feel moderately confident in those abilities. That's not strongly, but it's not neutral, okay? A leader, a little more confidence there. Digital citizenship was the highest for this group at 4.34. Collaborator, still over a 4. Designer, you felt a little stronger there. Facilitator, you felt comfortable. And analyst, you're looking for lots of different ways to use technology in formative and summative assessments. So made a quick graph, and you can see how close all of these are. As a class, you're tending very strong. You're comfortable with what these standards are expecting of you, which is fantastic. The students section drops a little. We start to see our first yellow scores, which are below 3.5. We see orange scores below 2.5. But I think it's also understandable, because while many of us implement technology in our instructional setting, whatever that may be, not all of these are appropriate in all settings. Okay? I can see that in a third grade classroom, you may or may not be using technology to create a design process and figure out how to refine prototypes. Okay? Knowledge constructor was very high for us as teachers for our students, as was digital citizenship. So I love that it's the strongest in both. Clearly that message is getting across. But you see that across the board, we only have 2 that are above a 4. Everything else is below, and you see where these fall relatively. There's no judgment here. There's no pointing fingers. It's just interesting. And maybe your strengths and weaknesses match this, or maybe you start to ponder how you answered and you see that you have a different need. If I see anything that I might be able to share with you as resources to kind of bolster any of these areas, I will pass those on. But that is all I have for you this week, my friends. I hope you have a wonderful week. It's finally getting warmer here in Ohio. Hopefully y'all are seeing it wherever you are. Maybe you're getting to take some fun trips. As always, please reach out to me if you have any questions or if I can help. And I hope you have a wonderful week. See you later.